So, let's be real for a second. Genshin's banner cycle has been kinda wild lately. Between surprise reruns, unexpected pairings, and soundtrack leaks turning into Harbinger theories, it's getting harder and harder to predict what's coming next. That's exactly why I wanted to make this video. Today, we're building a full roadmap from version 5.6 phase 2 all the way through 6.0. Not just what's confirmed, but what's likely, what's speculated, and what might just blindside us all. Whether you're saving for a dream team or just trying to plan your primo gems wisely, this is your guide to the future. Let's start with something current, because a lot of people actually missed this. We're still in version 5.6, and Phase 2 is about to go live. It's bringing us Kinich and Raiden Shogun alongside the long-awaited Inazuma Chronicled Wish. And if you were wondering about the 4 stars, here's the full list for Phase 2, Lynette, Toma, and Kujou Sarah. Pretty solid pool, honestly. Lynette's still underrated, and Sarah is perfect if you're finally building your Raiden properly. But let's not stay here too long. We've got a lot to cover. Let's move on to what everyone's already speculating about. Version 5.7. This one's big, because thanks to Hamdiji Cat, we have a full leak of who's going to be featured. Skirk, Mavuika, Emily, and Shinha as the 5 stars, with Dahlia making his debut as a new 4-star Hydro Sword user who can shield. That's already stacked. But now let's talk about how the phases might break down. Just keep in mind, this part is my own theory based on the Abyss buffs and rerun patterns, so take it with a grain of salt. Here's what I think makes the most sense. Phase 1 will likely feature Skirk and Mavuika. Why? First, Skirk is a brand new character, and Genshin almost always puts new 5 stars in the first phase to drive maximum hype and sales. Second, the Abyss buffs for floor 12 are screaming use cryo. We're talking 75% cryo damage bonus, reaction-based freeze effects, and even a buff to Night Cell-aligned damage, which Mavuika uses. It's not a coincidence. That leaves Shinha and Emily for Phase 2, which makes sense in multiple ways. Shinha hasn't had a banner in over 760 days, making her the most overdue 5-star rerun in the game. And Emily, who debuted back in version 4.8, still hasn't had her first rerun either. And if you look at Kinich's rerun in 5.6 Phase 2, a character whose best team is a burning team with Emily, it really makes sense to slot her in one version after Kinich. So this Phase 2 would be long-awaited and logical. And before I see the comments again, I know Shinha just was on the Liyue Chronicled Wish banner, but Shinha's cryo support makes her a perfect banner partner to follow Skirk's debut. So this isn't just a random guess from Hamdiji Cat. Now, I know there's been some debate about this. Another leaker going by the name Flying Flame recently claimed we're actually getting a Yelan and a Seat Lolly rerun instead of Shinha and Emily. But in my opinion, that lineup just doesn't make as much sense. Hamdiji Cat has been on point for months now. He nailed Navia's timing, Escoffier's release, and even the totally random-looking Raiden Shogun rerun that everyone doubted. And it was still right every time. So I'm sticking with this version until we have proof otherwise. Alright, now we move into the unknown, starting with version 5.8. This one's purely speculation for now, but the good news is, Genshin's patterns are actually pretty predictable when it comes to summer patches. Every year, we get the big summer event, which usually includes fun side story characters and a flashy seasonal theme. So who might show up in 5.8? I think we're looking at Chaska and Mualani. Both are from Natlan, and if Hoyoverse wants to keep reruns region-locked during their debut arcs, it makes sense to give every Natlan 5-star a rerun within the Natlan cycle. And since 5.8 is the last patch before Nod Cry in 6.0, this is the final window to give them proper reruns in their home region. There's also been a bit of wild speculation, and I mean wild, that Columbina might show up in Natlan. Why? Well, because when Skirk's drip marketing dropped, the background music was different. Really different. Fans instantly noticed that it shared melodic elements with Columbina's theme. Some even thought Hoyoverse might have accidentally leaked her character track early. To be fair, that song was changed pretty quickly after backlash started building and the rumors got out of hand. So was it Columbina's theme? Or just a coincidence? We don't know, but it sparked the theory that she might be the playable Harbinger from Natlan, the one meant to appear just before we head into Nod Cry. It would be poetic, sure, but honestly, I don't think it's happening. Remember in Azuma? We didn't get La Signora as a playable. That was the Harbinger arc of that region, and she still never made it to the banner lineup. So while a Columbina debut in 5.8 would be a dream, I wouldn't count on it. If you want more on that theory though, I did a full video breakdown. Check that out if you're curious. Alright, let's get to the real endgame. Version 6.0. This is the big one. Nod Cry. And based on how Natlan started, with Kachina guiding us into the region, it's very likely that someone important will guide us into Nod Cry as well. That person? Varka. He's been mentioned in the 5.6 Archon quest, and it was told that he is already in Nod Cry. And if anyone is going to guide us there, it's him. Not to mention, he's a perfect candidate for a new playable 5-star. So yes, I think Varka will become playable in 6.0. There are also whispers, and I do mean whispers about Durin. Not the dragon from Dragon's Pine as we know him, but a human-like, reformed version. Now again, this is super speculative, but if there's any version of Durin walking around as a playable character, 6.0 would be the place to do it. And you know what? It's honestly kind of refreshing to think that with Varka and possibly even Durin becoming playable in 6.0, we might finally be getting some 5-star men again. Don't get me wrong, I love the recent character releases, but let's be real. Natlan only gave us Kinich. One single 5-star male character in an entire region. So the idea that we might be starting Nod Cry with two important, lore-heavy male characters, one of them being the long-teased Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, and the other potentially a reimagined version of one of the most mysterious creatures in Genshin's world, is kind of exciting. It brings back a bit of that early game balance when we had more male characters. So let's sum all that up, just so you're ready for what's coming. 5.6 Phase 2 we're having Kinich, Raiden, and the Inazuma Chronicled Wish. In 5.7 there will be Skirk, Mavuika, Emily, Shinha, and Dahlia as a new 4-star. In 5.8 there could come Chaska, Mualani, possibly a summer event surprise and unlikely but fun Columbina theories. And in 6.0 we'll maybe be getting Varka and a possible Durin appearance. No matter which characters you're saving for, one thing's clear, the next few patches are stacked. Whether you're here for the lore, the meta, or just chasing your favorite design, we're heading into one of the most exciting transitions Genshin has seen in a while. Thanks for watching. Let me know down below who you're pulling for, or if you're skipping everything until Nod Cry. I'll be covering each version as it drops, so hit that sub if you want to stay updated with the latest. See you in the next one.